For years, refugees in Uganda have been receiving over 1 million Ugandan shillings as part of their monthly food ration provided by the World Food Programme with support from UNHCR. However, since the executive order passed by the Trump administration was put into action, many donor agencies have been struggling with funds, leading to a reduction in the monthly food ration to 663,000 shillings. On several occasions, refugees have been crying out about hunger and other basic needs since the reduction. Different reports from donor agencies and the Office of the Prime Minister indicate that the rise in teenage pregnancies has been supported by the dire need for basic needs.
As we are preaching resilience and the settlement transformation agenda, these are individuals that are very vulnerable. And the teenage girls usually end up falling victim because the perpetrators will want to promise false hope. So we have a lot of teenage pregnancy in the set.
Sylvia Musibega is one of the thousands of underage refugee girls who became pregnant due to the need for basic needs. Musibega, who is a food vendor in Ochea a trading center in Rhino Camp, became a refugee in 2007 during the internal conflicts in Kenya that forced her and her mother to flee to Uganda. Although peace was later restored, Musibega and her mother never returned to Kenya due to family disputes.
Could make my mom traumatized, and so that's the thing. For my mother's safety, she had also to run to Uganda.
Musibega, whose dream was to become a journalist, lost it after dropping out of school at a young age. She later returned in 2019 at the age of 16 to sit for her primary leaving examinations, where she excelled with the second grade.
When I started for my PLE, things became so very hard. I had nothing to do. And those days we did not have like school trainings, like this, let me say, like livelihood things.
Due to lack of funds to pay for her secondary education, she had no choice but to join her uncle, who was residing in Namuwongo, Kampala, with hopes of improving her life. Luckily, she was hired as a house help, locally referred to as a house girl, despite facing numerous household chores.
So I ended up being a house girl. I started doing house girl work, and then most of the years I lived in Kampala because life was so hard in refugee settlement.
This is when she fell into the hands of a man with whom she hoped to start a family, but he changed his mind after learning of her pregnancy.
When I told him I'm pregnant, he told me he's not ready to have a child. What I should do is I have to abort the baby.
She went through a lot of agony during antenatal and at the time of birth.
Abortion was not in my head because always people could say abortion is bad. When you get pregnant, do not do abortion because it's part of health. So I got traumatized, and when I told him, now what came into my mind, I was like, this is the kind of person who only wanted to play with my body, but he wasn't ready to be with me.
Despite her efforts of talking to the man responsible for her pregnancy, she wasn't helped. To date, she still struggles to raise her son.
So that thing got me traumatized, and then he told me if I'm not going to accept the abortion, then I should leave his house. So what I did, he gave me money to do the abortion, and then I just waited for him to go for work. I packed my things. I called my mom. I told mom, I'm not ready to abort.
According to Musibega, several girls are now falling victim to teenage pregnancy in search of basic needs.
So it really comes in their mind that now I do not have any support from nowhere, from anywhere. I have to go out there and at least sell my body to become a sex worker, and I at least get something for myself, my basic needs, which is not right.
After going through traumatic moments, Musibega regained the courage to move on with her life. She's now a teenage educator in Rhino Camp, advising young girls not to fall into the hands of exploiters and to be cautious after maternity.
There are young mothers out there, they do not know what to do but stand firm.
Just like Musibega, Esteri Daniel Vero, a South Sudanese in Ochea A zone, says she got pregnant when the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world. She was searching for basic needs for herself, her 14 brothers and 2 aunties with whom they sought refuge in Uganda. Esteri narrates that life turned upside down when the family of her then boyfriend refused to take responsibility for their son's mistake. She recalls the difficult time she went through during labor.
Now they took me to Arua hospital, but before we reached in there, the baby had to come out and I got a false degree here.
Most of the forcefully displaced people of concern break down whenever they narrate or recall what happened during the war.
So I left one.
Due to the ungodly sins experienced during the war, many have been traumatized and others suffer from various mental health disorders to the point of contemplating suicide.
It helped me a lot to let I do what I cannot do what, and even helped me to manage all those stress.
To help these people overcome this situation, donor agencies like TPO have provided mental health, psychological and livelihood support to the war victims. They are then given startup capital through groups where they set up group and individual businesses. Becca Senyonga Mlinde, NTV Tonight.